Now, I probably blew this because I thought there was another introduction coming up with this, so I'll just jump back up here. Okay, I started talking to you about this great guy, and I'm going to tell you, this is the kind of leadership. Not only did he risk it all, but it all was taken, and he looked at us and said, whatever happens, it's okay, because I understand where I'm going. And when you understand where you're going, you don't have to worry about the past. So don't be fearful about the past. Look forward, and you're going to learn from this amazing leader. He's done it over and over and over. And the reason people follow him is because he is a servant leader. He's an amazing gentleman. He's a great example for what possible things we can create in our life if we have that mentality, that energy. And more importantly, his focus is laser sharp. When he focuses in on something, that's where he's going. And that's why he's so successful. Surgical, that's the word. So let's welcome our first chair in all of ARIIX, Mr. Duke Tubton.
Might as well ask this question before we begin. How is everybody here doing today? Pretty good? Oh, awesome. The energy is definitely amazing. And I will tell you right now, for me coming up here, right off the bat, this is what I'm going to say. The people that came up here on stage before me, legends in the industry. And I know the people that are coming right after me, and after me, of course, legends as well. And that's a good thing for me. And this is the reason why, okay? Because if my speech isn't that great, I'll be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? Which is a big plus for me. And I will tell you, when I was getting ready to come up here on stage, the only thing that came to my mind is getting out of my comfort zone. Getting out of my comfort zone. And I will tell you why before, again, coming up here. One, I have never been on a stage like this before. This is kind of like a three-dimensional thing going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not used to that. On top of that, I spoke to someone a couple days ago in regards to my particular portion. And this individual, of course, a legend. And that person will be coming right after me. And this is the thing. I don't want to say who he is because I know right when he comes up, it's like, yep, Duke hit the nail on the head. This person is definitely a legend. And what happened was, I said, you know what, I can give like a brief outline, just my thoughts in terms of the subject that I'm going to talk about. And he said, okay, perfect, just send it to me. I sent him my thoughts, and less than an hour ago, my thoughts became a PowerPoint. Okay? So what that means is that I threw down my thoughts. How much time did I spend with that PowerPoint? Around 1 minute. So right now, it's kind of fun because I'm on a stage that, again, out of my comfort zone. Usually when it comes to a speech, especially when my goal is to give information that will be very helpful. The last thing I want to do is waste anybody's time up here on stage. My goal, if you want to know, is to deliver usable information. Usable, meaning that you could use it immediately. That's my goal. That's what I'm hoping to achieve. So with, of course, being on this stage and, of course, with my PowerPoint, you're going to notice me multitasking. My speech right now is going to be around 80% impromptu. Is that okay? All right. So is everyone here ready to listen to my portion, the subject? All right. So here we go. And I got to play with the clicker. All right. So I'm learning the clicker at the same time. Green should mean go. So I'm going to hit green. So why ARIIX? Okay, a lot of people come up to me and they ask, you know, Duke, why did you choose ARIIX? And you know what I will say? Well, right off the bat, for the most part, okay, yes, I did choose ARIIX. But I would have to say it was not necessarily me. It was more so the people that I was working with chose ARIIX. And let me explain, okay? When I first heard of ARIIX and the concept itself, I will tell you, for me, as I said, I didn't hear ARIIX. I didn't hear a name. I just kind of heard a vision. Does that make sense? And I was just sitting in my massage chair, okay, just to let you know. All of a sudden, my phone, the vibrator goes off, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I got an email. all of a sudden I'm looking at my email, and I noticed that 4 top executives in the company that I work for decide to leave. I will tell you, when I got that email, the massage chair didn't help me anymore. Does that make sense? It did not help. And I will tell you, I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what? So many people got that email at the same time. I was getting phone calls left and right. And they said, Duke, do you think this is a big deal? And I said, well, if you are in a restaurant and the top 4 chefs leave, is that a pretty big deal? I think that is. And you know, they said, what do we do? What do we do? Why did they leave? Where are they going? And you know what I said? For me, being in my position, if you want to know a little bit on my history, I've been in the industry for roughly around 13 years. The company I worked for previously, that company, I worked there for around 7 years. And if you heard, that was around a $500 million company. Been very fortunate in the past decade in the industry itself. And I'll tell you, you know, for me, as I said, comfort zone. It's very easy for me to kind of just say, you know what, hey, I don't know what they're doing, but I could have said, who cares? You know what I'm saying? And just completely ignored it. But I believe if I'm in a position of leadership, and a leadership position I don't think is calling the shots. I think it's about serving. Does that make sense? And to me, to just kind of ignore it, just completely be blind about it, I don't think that's being a leader. Because I don't think that's providing support. And I said, you know what, maybe we should explore this. And that's what we did. And of course, as you know, we're here. We're here. And if I were to explain why I chose ARIIX, and as I said, what it came down to was this. The group that I worked with, they, as I said, made the decision. I'll tell you, I was neutral either way. If they said, you know what, let's stay where we're at. You know what I was thinking? Well, okay, my income is preserved. You know what I'm saying? The built-up passive walkaway residual, preserved. You know, but at the same time, if they say, let's go, then I said, well, that's what I would have to do. And the reason being is this, because I believe in this line of work, in order for your business to grow, it's about how you are with your people and how you support your people. So I will go ahead, though, and at least give my 2 cents on why I prefer and why I choose ARIIX. Is that okay? Yes. And this is what I've been taught, all right? Now, if I were to sum this up in one word, and I know there's around 2 types of people in this room. And again, my goal is to be efficient. Okay, that's one thing. If you notice, I'm kind of fanatical about that, to try to be efficient. There's going to be 2 types of people in this audience. One type of person, experience. They have experience in this industry in some way, shape, or form. The second type, no experience. No experience. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain this. You will meet people, if you choose to take on ARIIX, that may ask you why you chose. And hopefully, why I chose could help you when you talk to people. Is that okay, everybody? Yes. I will sum this up in one word. As I said, efficiency. If I could sum up why ARIIX in one word for myself, that word is balanced. It's balanced. Okay? And that's what I lead off with. It is balanced. And why is it balanced? Well, this is what I was taught, that in a company, there are 3 major parts, whether it's network marketing or a traditional corporation, 3 parts to a company that have to be strong. So let's talk about this. It's finance, operations, and marketing. All 3 portions need to be strong, okay? Need to. If one is weak, company's going to be in trouble. So again, as I said, I'm playing with the slides, okay? So I'm learning the slides as much as you are pretty much at the same time. Finance. Let's talk about finance right now. The people that founded the company came from a $500 million company. Okay, meaning they're doing around $500 million a year. This is what I believe. When we talk about finances, is this company doing well financially? Do they have strong financial backing? To me, in a company, in a corporation, if you want to start any business, money's like oxygen. Okay? So, this is what I know. Right off the bat, if they're coming from a company that does around $500 million, they have to be pretty well-to-do. Very well-to-do. On top of that, being executives, they have experience, right? And you know what? They could have funded this whole thing on their own. And let me tell you this, that so many investors wanted to invest in ARIIX. It's to the point where they want to kind of like fling their money of course, at the founders. And why is that important? Usually when you have a startup idea, you kind of have to beg investors to trust you. Isn't it amazing to have that type of credibility where investors say, hey, look, I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're going to do it big. Isn't that pretty awesome? And to me, right off the bat, yes, I know finances are strong, but it also displays their reputation, their credibility. So finances, again, I like that. Now, operations. Again, I talked about this a little bit. As marketers, as representatives, I have learned this in my 13 years. I've worked for many companies, been very fortunate to do well in many of these companies. If you want to know, in the prior company, I was in their top 25 income earners. Okay? And in companies prior to that, I was also I was their top earner in a couple of these other companies. And let me tell you this right now. I have learned this as a marketer. Talent doesn't matter if the management does not know what they're doing. Does not know what they're doing. And you know what's sad? You are working as hard as you can. This is what I believe. You could be the best sailor on a ship, but if the captain cannot make good calls, you're in trouble. And that's what I believe. And as I said, these individuals have extreme amounts of experience. And you know what's great? Their experience leading up to ARIIX, they have not struck out. There is not, I don't even know when was the last time they struck out. Isn't that pretty good to know? I think that builds faith. Yesterday, there was a VIP party for people that qualified and they attend. And this is what I said, when it comes to a startup, you need to have faith. You need to have faith. But I said, it's kind of weird. I said, working in ARIIX, what's weird is that with faith, there has to be this kind of blind trust. You don't quite know what's going on, and you're just hoping for the best. But have you ever had faith where you just already know what's going to happen? It's weird because I said you really can't quite call it faith anymore when you just know what's going to happen. The question is, are you going to get your piece out of it? Okay? So, operations, feel great about operations. Now let's talk about marketing. Marketing, that's where we come in. And to me, there are two parts in the marketing. And this is what I said about balance. Financially, I can see it's very strong. Operations, very strong. Marketing, two parts. Okay, first off is the products. And if you notice, 360 degrees of health, a focus on wellness beyond just personal health. I have seen many companies where, again, their focus is mainly just whatever you consume, whatever you personally use. And in marketing, this is what I've noticed. If you have a company that provides just one product and you're talking to a potential customer, if they don't like that product, game over. But you know what's great? This company plans to add variety. And they go beyond just what you personally consume. For sake of example, again, all of us here, we have a place to live. And I know they're going to be exploring into the healthy home, right? Having your home, your environment cleanly, right? Or clean. So they're going that route. So if someone, and I know it's weird, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, there are people out there that don't really take care of their own health at all, but their house is amazingly spotless. Right? And if they are, all right, if they don't care about their own personal health, then we can help them with their home. So in essence, it expands our market. And I'm thinking, worst case scenario, if they don't care about their own personal health, if they don't care about their home and how it looks and, if it's clean, well, hopefully at least they might care about their pet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they might care about their pet. All I'm hoping for is a point of entry. And what I mean for a point of entry is, again, a product that they could take a liking to, where hopefully it creates a brand loyalty, where they can explore all the other products. There are car companies out there, right? I'll give an example like Honda. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say Toyota. And that point of entry might be the Camry. And all of a sudden, you see that family turn into a Camry family. You know what I'm talking about? Generations of Camrys, right? And then they jump into other types of cars. So as I said, brand loyalty. So that's the first part, is the products. And one thing I also mentioned is a strategic rollout. It's a strategic rollout. It's not wise to put all your cards on the table at once, but it's also wise to know which cards to put down first. And I think this company has it down on lock. On lock. And I cannot talk about the future product rollout. I know I'll get in trouble. All I'm going to say is make sure you work to get into the Partners Club. You know what I'm saying? And you will hear the rollout. And all I think about is so smart. So smart. I was telling this to my wife, Sheila. And I'll tell you, for me, in my opinion, my better half. She keeps me organized. And she makes sure that I am well dressed. You know what I'm saying? So, and I told her this. I said, I work for companies that when they make a plan, as a representative, sometimes I have to spend time out of my day to think, why did they do that? Why did they make that change? Or I had to question. Does that make sense? Here, what I like, again, and their experience is just the cherry on top. But just the way they view things, just the way they're going with things, this is what I've realized. I don't even judge it. You know what I think about? Hey, whatever they're rolling out, we know it's going to be great. We got to just know about it, as I said, so we can get our peace. And that's great. I spend no time judging. I spend all my time learning how to maximize the potential of the opportunity. So again, that's products. Now, the next part of marketing is us, and that's where the compensation plan comes in. And I wanted to save, I guess you could say, my strongest points for last in the compensation plan. If you want to know, coming aboard in ARIIX, don't think that my entire organization came with me. That is actually not the case. I would have to say roughly around 80, maybe 70% or so, maybe 70 in the 80% stayed. Why? Want me to be straight out? I never approached them. I never approached them. I didn't talk to them. My top leaders, I didn't talk to them. My goal, as I said, I was to serve those that were looking to me for advice. I hope I'm not losing anybody with this. And very fortunate to say, a lot of people said, Duke, your income has been built up to this point. Why don't you just say it? And I said, I wanted to wait. I know that there are some people out there, they have one great check, and all of a sudden they talk about how good they're doing. I said, I wanted to make sure that my income was consistent. It's been around 2 months worth of checks, and I can clearly say that my income has been replaced in roughly a month. And it took around 7 years. And I'll tell you, of course, a great company in the way it's set up. I'm very fortunate for the team that I work with, for the groups, and it's amazing to see everyone so fired up. And you know what I also know too? We are not fully fired up yet. I know that. We're almost there. I'm hoping by the end of today we are there. But this is what I will say, okay? And as I said, I hope to save the best part for last. And you know what I will tell people? If you heard just right now, the majority of the people that 7 years building, left behind, it kind of shows how great a compensation plan this is. A lot of people say, oh, well, there's this comp plan that pays a lot. And I go, well, that's great if it pays a lot. The question is how much goes in your pocket? You know what I'm saying? That's the key. That is the key. And this is all I'm going to say. It's amazing what can happen with a raised cap and matching bonus. It's amazing with a raised cap and matching bonus. So let's talk about this. So, compensation plan. I like the fact that the base is set with a $2,000 cap. And this is going to be for people, again, that have experience. If you are new, it's just great to kind of take notes. It'll be good for the future. Okay? Now, why is this good? I have noticed in other companies that the cap is too low. The leader will not have enough invested interest to help them gain the experience necessary to be on their own. As much as the leader should work with them until they're fully duplicated, a lot of leaders stop working with their team until they know there's no more invested interest. And with a $2,000 cap, that will give the leadership more than enough time to make sure that all the future leadership knows what they're doing. And I think that's great. The bonuses, in my opinion, genius. Genius. And this provides the fuel. I have seen compensation plans where the way they devise it, as I said, it's about balance. Where the compensation plan pays the leaders so much money where in turn they get lazy. and they stop serving their team. And then you might have a compensation plan that pays the new people so much that the leaders, they're just kind of floating. They don't know what to do. Does that make sense? Or it may not attract the leaders. It has to be balanced for the new people, the rookie, so to speak. And then it needs to be, of course, great for the professional. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the bonuses real quick. Team lead bonus. What I like, if you notice, it says rookie right next to it. It's so well designed where that's where you get your team going. If you want to know what I see team lead bonus, you get your team going. You get it off the ground. And on top of that, you get educated with the products and where it's going. How many people here have tried out the products? And if you haven't, I'm sure most of you have a bottle of Rejuvenix. You know what I'm saying? It's time to start, right? So I think it's great because that is where you get your feet wet. As I'm going for team lead bonus, I want to get my feet wet and understand the ins and out of ARIIX, okay? From there, you got the car allowance. To me, that's intermediate. Now let's talk about the car allowance. It gives a new person something to focus on. This is so key, and I'm going to explain this at the very end, okay? That, you know what? I have seen so many companies that have a car allowance, and only like 5 people ever get it, right? And on top of that, it's like merit-based. You know what I'm saying? They tell you got to hit this qualification, and now you're in the car allowance, and on top of that, now they got to like you. If they don't like you, you're not going to get the car. I have seen those type of companies where, in essence, there might be a slight sense of favoritism. And here it's merit-based, and it's set at a director-level paycheck. Unheard of, in my opinion. Never seen that before. So that's the car allowance. Again, setting director income. Matching bonus, to me, is for the professionals. It's for the professional. Because you know what? It goes beyond the $2,000 cap. So how does it work? This is what I believe. The better you are as a trainer, the better that you are with your organization, the better you are at supporting, you will get rewarded for that. To me, that's like good karma. That is a great display of good karma. Okay? As I said, it goes well beyond the $2,000 cap. So when it comes down to this balance here, I like the fact that ARIIX knows how to keep things fresh, exciting, and fun. So leaders don't have to bridge the gap. Because this is what happens. When you have a compensation plan that is not as motivating, when you have a leadership that doesn't keep it fresh, you being out in the field, you have to be the one making all those phone calls to make sure that your people are excited and motivated. You know what this allows us to do? See, this is what I believe. Why not have a company so well set up where you can just see your team become stronger entrepreneurs? And then you can spend your time focusing on new people. Because what ended up happening for me and some of the companies I've worked in is that it has an explosive start in the very beginning, and things really start growing. And after a while, from building fresh and building teams and income growing, it kind of turns into like a daycare, so to speak. Have you ever seen the acrobat and they're just juggling all those plates? And all you're doing is trying to keep everyone motivated. And you know what I like? The way this company's set up, they have that motivation down. So we can just focus on what we need to do. So, to close, I hope my portion was good. I hope it was helpful. And as I said, when I explain this to everyone, or anybody, I say, just in this company, you could see, just with the compensation plan, how well it's set up. You can have a compensation plan set up like a drag car. That's great. But you know what? It's like too high power and it's just in a straight line. This company has a dynamic. It's dynamic. To me, it's like a Formula One car. It's built to go fast regardless of the road. Now, if you look at this, and I'll say this in closing, as I said, out of my comfort zone. And I hope there are people here that are willing to, in a way, rush into their business knowing that. To me, you know, when I was first standing, and all I was thinking is, okay, Duke, structure what you have to say. Structure what you have to say. And after a while, I was like, I can't do that. You're like, I don't even know what my slides are going to say. And then I was thinking to myself, where do I stand on this thing? Where do I stand on this stage? You know, I know I should go over here, you know, or, right? Or over here, you know? Oh, wow. But you know what I will say is that at the end of it all, because my mind was going in so many different directions, all I thought to myself is just, you just got to bring it. You just have to bring it. Don't think about all the things that can go wrong. Just go do it and learn afterwards. That's what I'm thinking. You know what's great? I thought about this stage and I go, this stage is complicated. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I look at it and I go, this stage, though, it's not complicated. It's designed a certain way. To me, this is the foundation. As I said, it's very three-dimensional. And I look at this company, if you notice, with their policies, and I'll tell you, the support, amazing. I've seen companies where the leaders only want to stick to their group. You know what's great is that this company already started off where everyone wants to help each other. And at the end of it all, you can even be in the Founders Club, where you have invested interest to take your support anywhere, to anybody. And I hope everyone here has that ambition, say, I want to be in that Founders Club. I hope, because you know what? It's open game for anybody right now. But you know what I believe here? It's all about support. And when I look at this stage, that's the number one thing that came to my mind. Because again, the company, the way they're set up, that is the foundation. Finance, operations, marketing, that is the foundation. You know what I like about this stage? I believe it's a great depiction of where this company is going. It's not two-dimensional. It's just not just one portion. Because I'll tell you this right now. As I said, it's all about support. Where is front row on this stage? It can be anywhere. I can take one step, and it's a new front row. I turn my direction, it's a new front row. And you know what's great? That shows that this company, why did they do this? They didn't have to do this. It shows the support that they want to give. They had to think about this before they laid this down. And it shows how fanatical they are about support. So are we going to help ARIIX grow to become a billion-dollar company? Yes! Are we sure? Yes! All right, everybody. Well, thank you for having me up here. Take care, everybody.